Welcome again to another session in the Café, our own C-suite Café, where we have conversations with senior, very serious business leaders that affect and effect changes in our environment. Today, like other days, we have somebody that has made a difference in both the financial services and the Nigerian financial technology ecosystem. His name resonates across the continent whenever conversations are on software consultancy. His name is Yele Okeremi, and he is here today to share ideas with us on the financial technology ecosystem, on software consultancy, and on doing business in Africa as a whole. Welcome.
Always a pleasure, Ike.
To C-suite Café.
Good to see you again.
Yele, you've been a friend over a period, and sitting with you is always a pleasure. You come across like a simple, honest person. You don't strike like somebody in the industry. Before we do this, we need to fire ourselves up and get ourselves in the mood. And to do that, there are 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 questions that we call quick fire questions.
Okay.
That I'll just throw at you and we're good to go. Are you ready for me?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Given the options, would you want formal education or apprenticeship?
Both of them are necessary, but you cannot buy what you get in apprenticeship in any formal education. That's the truth. One of the things I say to my people is that theory and practice matter. And people tell me, oh, I want experience. I want experienced programmers. I want experienced designers. And I say, yes, the meaning of experience is I've seen this before. And therefore, this is how we did it at that time when I saw it. And then you can come quickly to an answer. And that's the value of experience. However, experience fails when the terrain is uncharted. The only thing that stands when you are going into uncharted course is knowledge. And that's why, like I said, the combination is compulsory. So I say to people that I do not respect your experience until I can vouch for your understanding.
Brilliant. Money or fame? Choose one.
What's the meaning of fame, actually? I would say that fame, it does not necessarily mean impact. If you define your fame as positive impact, the Yoruba people will tell you that if you are going out of your house to look for money and you meet fame, you will return to your house. Because when you get the money, what do you want to use it to buy? Fame. So at the end of the day, it's fame. And when I say fame in this particular instance, I'm talking about positive impact.
If it is fame, like we have said, would you rather be famous locally or internationally?
What's the big deal about the people, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg? Do they have 2 heads? Some of them, if you transplanted my brain into theirs, they'll be 5 times better than they are. So, as far as I'm concerned, the world is our work, it's our playground. You should, if you're talking about fame, you should be acclaimed globally.
Family or career?
Oh, family always comes first to me. Because what's the meaning of career? When you do not take care of your own home. You see, the Bible also talks about it.
Yes.
When the Bible says a man who is unable to provide for his own family, especially those in his own household, it says he has denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel.
Wow. So, public or private sector? Would you rather be in government or be where you are now?
I think at this stage of my life, what I'm looking for is what I'm having, autonomy. However, if I didn't want to be selfish, at this particular point in time, one should be looking at public sector. And the reason is simply because in the public sector, the chances of your decisions making impact on a whole lot of people
Yes.
is higher than whatever I can do here in the private sector. But again, like I say, if you say you are going to start your career in the public sector, well, it might work, but for me, it doesn't really work. I think go prove yourself outside, build something, understand how the people really are before you ever think of leading them in the public sector. Perhaps, although I have no aspiration of going into public sector, but people at my stage now should only be aspiring in the public sector.
Thank you very much, and welcome once again to C-Suite Café.
Always
Let's
a
have
pleasure.
coffee and then continue.
Thank
In
you.
a moment, we'll be back. Welcome back to the program C-Suite Café, and we're still in the studio with our guest for the day, Yele Okeremi. Call him the fintech buff himself. Welcome once more.
Thank you again.
You pride yourself as someone who has a passion for the black man. It's
Correct.
boldly written on your portal.
Correct.
When you say that, what does that mean?
Look,
As a philosophy.
yeah, I mean, look, so, I mean, and I get to see this, and somebody shared a joke some time ago, and that joke resonated.
Yeah.
Said somebody had gone to park in a slot that was clearly marked for disabled. And the car that he took there had no badge for disabled. And so when the marshal, the ticket, the parking marshal got to the car, he was about to ticket the car. And this guy walked boldly to the guy that was about to ticket him. So why do you want to ticket me? He said, can't you see this for disabled? He said, yes. What offense have I committed? He said, but you are not disabled. And the guy said, what do you mean I'm not disabled? Is this black skin not sufficient disability?
What?
But you see, you can laugh about it, but it's the truth. And that's why we see all sorts of things that go on, even now, overtly. It was covert sometime, and so they talk about it in hushed tones, but today it's actually overt. Racism all over the place, and it's kind of wanting to believe that white skin is superior to the black skin. And you can remember these things have been there. And that was why Samuel Ajayi Crowther said at that time, I'm proud of my color. Whosoever is not proud of his color is not fit to live. There's only one reason why he would have said that. At that time he said it.
Yes.
It was clearly a game of people assuming that because of the accident of location, because some people's skin doesn't need to adapt to the kind of climate that we have, and their skin is pink in color, and we are brown, so to speak, then they assume that they have higher intellectual capacity. But we've disproven that, of course. We went to the same schools with them, and we were in the same class with them, and they knew their position in class. And I'm not speaking as just one person. We've seen several people that have the same color as ours who are doing extremely well. And I say it also always boldly that wherever we go, we show them what the stuff we are made of. However, as a collectively, we haven't done well enough.
Exactly where I am interested in. People will look at Africa as a whole, as a continent, look at countries populated by black men, and tend to push the narrative that there's something wrong with the black man. We can't appear to govern ourselves well in spite of abundance of blessings, natural, intellectual. We can't harness these things to become ahead of the world. Yes, you read the history that civilization started here.
Correct.
Before it went away, whether it was stolen or we just somehow abandoned it.
Correct.
What is that problem with the black man? Or you don't think there is?
There is. And the problem is simple. You see, let me explain something to you. When you are playing games, like table tennis,
Yes.
all right, which is one-on-one, then you can say your individual skills matter, all right? But when you are playing games in teams, like soccer, then not only do the individual skills
Come to play.
but the formation matters.
Yes.
I mean, I say it all the time that I don't know which team is considered the best, which club, I don't know, or which country's team is considered the best. But a mediocre football team will probably defeat Arsenal, or I don't know, or Chelsea, or Man U, if the coach of Man U suddenly decides that his goalkeeper will be fielded as the striker, number 9. And then the man that is the right, number 7, the right winger, he brings to the central defense. And then the
striker goes to the goalkeeper's position.
And then yes.
You understand?
So what are you expecting?
And the left fullback becomes
the right winger.
The right winger.
They are not going to win.
Yes.
This is just the problem with Africa. You see, we are blessed with everything. It's just a game of formation. And let me also say this. There's a simple maxim that I know, that a flock of sheep led by a lion will defeat a pride of lions that's led by sheep. This is the problem with Africa. We still haven't come with not the capability, with a structure that guarantees that we are led by our best. Now, once we sort that out in Africa, I'm looking for the nation that can stand before Africa.
That's why in the quick fire question, I asked about whether you want public sector or private sector. Because increasingly, it is the worst of us that are leading the best of us.
Correct.
In the political and national economic management ecosystem. How can we integrate these people to make sure that at least even if it's our second 11, start getting close? Because those occupying leadership positions across federal and state, whether I like it or not, many believe they are not even our 10th 11.
And they will be right if they said that.
So what is that thing that can be done to make sure that creative, innovative brains start getting opportunities in that space?
Look, this is a very sore thumb, that question you have asked. Because you and I can stay here today and excite ourselves, but you and I are as powerless as anything can be. Because you see, the real issues around this is that when you look at what we call the Gini coefficient in economics, I'm talking about disparity.
Yes.
In the world, yes, it's high. The resources of the world, I think you have more than 98% of the world resources in the hands of about 2% of the population of the world.
I think less than so.
Yeah. But if you come to Nigeria, Africa, it's more interesting. You have more than 99% of the resources in the hands of less than 1%. Now, these 1% are oligarchs. And just as long as your leadership selection process is a function of how much you can spend, it's a joke. You cannot unseat them. Let's get that clear. Therefore, we need a system, and I don't know. I can postulate, like I said, we can postulate that helps us talk about meritocracy. First of all, I'm very happy that democracy, we can see the underbelly today of the concept called democracy. Because what's the meaning of democracy? Popularity. And that's why when we were talking about fame the other time, I was defining it appropriately.
Yes.
And I keep saying all the time, the example I like to use is that there are certain jobs that are too important to any society for them to say that the way they're going to pick them is by popularity. If your wife is pregnant and she's in distressed labor, do you conduct elections to determine
Before you select the doctor,
the doctor to do it. Or when you are about to fly, you want to go on a journey, even from Lagos to Abuja, do you conduct election to determine who the captain is? So if you don't conduct elections to determine who the captain will be or who the doctor will be, why do you think elections will produce your president? And we can see it happening in other nations today as well, where you are producing the dumbest because you can sway the population. We need a system that allows some form of aristocratic meritocracy, where you can say that the people who are going to occupy certain offices have proven track records and requisite training. I mean, we know some other countries in the past, take a look. They will tell you whoever the prime minister of certain countries are had to have gone to certain schools. And it was not by accident. It's preparation. It's called seasoning. And until we are able to address that, we may still not be able to deal with the leadership issue in Africa. So I'm saying that, yes, after a while, perhaps we will be able to solve it. However, there's a condition precedent, even if you wanted to talk about popularity.
Yes.
A condition precedent for democracy being able to elect the best is appropriate education. So how do you handle it? What's the level of population in Nigeria? So you can look at yourself. You are an expert in communications. We are discussing strategy about how to lead a company to the next level in terms of their marketing. And you are in the middle of Igbo market. You have one vote. The guards at the gates who never went to school have one vote.
The person
The
said
Agberus there,
Ewedu.
they have one vote each. How do you think you are likely to win? So these are the real issues I see with us.
Wow, man, if we dwell on this topic, it's going to take us like 3 or 4 sessions.
It's a course.
So let's move. You have been running a company for 30 years
Over.
in this country,
Yeah.
consistently growing it. What was 30 years in one company like to you?
Well, you know, I still feel the same way I felt the day the company started.
No boredom,
Ah.
going to the same office, to meet the same people, to do practically the same thing, or maybe your innovations enable you to create new things regularly. Yes.
So I'm a restless person, actually. I cannot maintain the status quo. That is who I am. And that's what I do for a living. So, I mean, I'm going to say this, I don't want this to go out in a funny manner. But sometimes I don't know why people pay me to do what I do, because I'm enjoying my life doing what I do.
You are like a footballer.
I mean, yeah. So what I'm doing, and people are paying me, they are helping me showcase the gifting of God in my life. So that means the boredom is not even on the cards at all. Yeah. In more than 31 years that I've led the company, things change every day. And I tell people that that's our biggest protection, because we are doing intellectual property business. And people, I've seen my friends who come and sit down, some of them run bigger firms. And they say, look, how do you handle this? We are worried about intellectual property protection, particularly in a climate where, you know, the legal structure and framework for intellectual property is very loose. How do you do this? I tell them my best protection is the fact that I am too dynamic. So even if you stole what I did today and you try to compete with me, tomorrow I'm bringing something else. So it's not, I can't be bored. And the people that are around me, they are the most exciting people that you can ever meet. My team makes me feel, and they make me look very good outside, and I'm so proud of that team.
Interestingly, we have heard that you have some employees that were with you on the very first day you started, and they are still there with you to date.
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
I don't know. I think it's a two-way traffic. First way is my job to sell the vision. But I can keep selling the vision. It is also for the other party to be able to receive it appropriately. It doesn't matter whether I'm the best communicator of the vision or not. And I think that matters a lot. My capability to communicate the vision for people to see the future in a vivid manner. That helps. The other thing is authenticity and integrity. You see, people are going to unravel you if you lie to them. And trust is very important.
Yes.
So that's one of the biggest assets that we have. So internally, my team will follow me to battle blindfolded because they know.
You won't throw them under the bus.
They know that I do not renege on promises as God gives us grace to do. So those are some of the factors. And I also believe that some of them are also enjoying their lives the same way I'm enjoying mine.
Interesting. Now, you are in the software sector. It's essentially a B2B
Yes, that's what we are doing.
business.
Right.
And even in that B2B, you enable other businesses to become better, to perform more efficiently.
Correct.
Most of the time, if anybody is going to a bank now and you knock on the gates and somebody reaches your mind and say, oh, you want 10,000 naira, and you say yes, and they bring out the cash and give you, you go back home. Convenience, it becomes fast.
Correct.
That customer doesn't know how
The process.
And the processing happened. Those are the things people like you do.
Yes.
Does it not affect you one way or the other that you are facilitating businesses but not directly interfacing with the customer? That recognition is somehow important. I don't know, you understand the picture I'm painting?
You don't remember when we were doing the fire questions, you asked about money and fame.
Yes.
And that's why I said that at that time, I wanted to define fame appropriately. So, I mean, that's natural for human beings to want to say, oh, I'm the one behind that, and for people to hail you. But for me, that's not important. The important thing is I'm true to myself. And on the other hand, I also recognize that all those gifts are not mine. They come from God. And so, when the gifting of God in my life is showcased, I'm just happy with that. There's no need for anybody to go around and singing that somebody did something. For me, it's just a pride that God enabled us, particularly in a difficult environment. You know, the problem in this environment, right, is that our people are a lot more patient with a white man's dog than with our own selves. So when people like me even will talk, you still see people who say, nah, it's not saying anything. Until you bring some white boy who probably graduated only 5 years ago, and then he's saying, and then they are nodding. So when we win, every time we win, I feel very happy. The other day I was talking and I said something, and somebody mentioned one of the big five and said their CEO, managing partner, said something different. I said, I don't know what he said. I wasn't in the forum. I said, but whatever I say, there's no MD of any big five in the world that can dispute it. I'm not talking about the MD in Nigeria. Whoever their MD, global MD is in the world, must be my junior in school. So why would I bother joining issues with people that are not even at my level?
You are approaching another very critical question that I have here. Your industry, I know that we have brilliant people, quality products, but like we said earlier, the black skin. Yes, this is coming from Africa, it's coming from Nigeria, and as a result, the media will not celebrate it as much as it should. And for that reason, it's also affecting limiting your earning capacity.
Correct.
What is the core issues that inspire this kind of mindset, and how do we overcome it?
So again, for me, look, so if you look at my own trajectory and you compared with the trajectory of the younger generations, I look at the younger generations and I realize that they are smart people, probably smarter than me. They look at what I'm doing and some of them actually come and tell me that, sir, we really like what you're doing, but we're not going to tolerate it. I'm not likely to accept some of the things that you have accepted. So what do? They pivot. So let's take a look today at the landscape. And I'm bold to say that all the companies that you call in my field, unicorns, there's absolutely none of them that is a Nigerian company. Absolutely none. Including what should have been the pride, InterSwitch, that started completely local. I am one of the founding fathers of InterSwitch. Right. And ordinarily, had the environment done what it needed to do, InterSwitch would have blossomed. But they also recognize that the environment is not giving them what they want. So the easy way to get value, which is in balance of creating more money, is to have alliances, shake hands, and probably sell to foreign interests. But that's not what I have fought for. And absolutely, am I going to blame anybody that does that? I'll be very foolish to blame them because, yes, I might be able to withstand the pressure. I probably have some assets to keep me going that they don't have. So they need to do what they have to do to get what they need to get. However, the point is that should we continue with this trajectory as a people, it's a picture of a people that's absolutely going nowhere. And therefore, that trajectory must necessarily reverse. We must appreciate that we have capacity to do anything that anybody else, anywhere in the world can do. And even if we do not have the capacity at this particular point in time, we have more than enough capacity to learn and understudy and be able to replicate.
The issue why some of them maybe go into such alliances or maybe sell,
yes,
is, for instance, if it will take you 20 years,
yes,
to get into the global space,
yes,
and selling to foreign interests takes you 2 years or even 1 year.
it's a smart idea.
So why don't we, and they say it's a globalized world.
Correct.
Why don't we rather canvas for a more inclusive market where you can call somebody from US, from whatever, sell a significant portion of what you have, provided we start having our presence on that dining table where the global consumption of technology takes place.
So, that's why I said what I said earlier. It's a two-way traffic. If we're going to achieve the kind of thing that I have in mind, then naturally, the leadership, and I mean the government, must necessarily take certain positions. Look, and I don't want to talk about other people's businesses, but take a look at Union Pay today.
Yeah.
You know Union Pay? You know Union Pay started, you know what it used to be called? China Union Pay.
Yes.
It was a card scheme. You realize that today, go anywhere, go to any website, go anywhere in the world, the Union Pay card is accepted.
Yes.
How did that happen? Was it magic? It was deliberate strategy. The card business was dominated by MasterCard and Visa. American Express is predominant in the US.
Yes. No, the global ones are MasterCard and Visa.
Today, there's a third one. It's Union Pay.
Yes.
So why couldn't Verve have become global. The guys that did Verve knew what they were doing. I think they did a good job. But the same thing you said, when they looked at the headwinds, because all we needed to do was to allow them to be able to scale. I mean, look, who does the kind of things we do around here? For local payments, we are issuing MasterCard, we are issuing Visa, and we have Verve. I think there's something that needs to be taken a look at. We have a whole huge market, because that's what China did. If you have a whole huge market, you see the assets for creating wealth, the things that bind the boundaries are natural resources and markets. Yeah. Take a look at us. We have both. Natural resources and markets. So what I'm saying is that the private sector, it doesn't matter how smart you are, until you have the support of your sovereign, you may never be able to fly.
And that is the question. How do you have that handshake with the sovereign? You are an industry.
Yes.
It's brilliant. I'm going to come to another question where, even though they have sold, of all the unicorns that came out of Africa, 5 are from Nigeria.
Absolutely. Expectedly. What did you expect?
Now, before we go there, how do you engineer this handshake with the government? Because obviously, it's a country perception issue.
Yes.
That might be hindering the growth of some Nigerian brands.
Partly.
When you are sitting down and your trajectory is analogous with the national image.
Correct.
It affects.
Correct.
So how do you execute this handshake?
Now let me explain something to you. There's a maxim that who feels it know. Look, if you have people who are making policies that have never created wealth before, there's absolutely no way they can feel the pain of the industry players and entrepreneurs that are creating wealth. And consequently, a lot of the policies that they make may not be congruent with the desires of the entrepreneurs. That's why I said earlier that ordinarily speaking, what we should do in getting leaders in specific offices, at least, we need track record.
I remember that.
And that's one of the missing things. So some of the things that we are talking about, you are a communications expert, so you know that at the end of the day, perception trumps reality. And perception is formed by narratives.
Yes.
And narratives are very deliberately done for smart people. The question is, your child is only going to be called by the name that you call it. So the kind of things that people tell you, I was president of the Institute of Software Practitioners, and that's one of the things I fought for. So you go and you say, oh, the software is Nigerian. And they say, oh, no. Why? It says it has so many bugs. Microsoft Excel, every day, they are still correcting bugs. So which software doesn't have bugs? But that one you can accept. Look, the bottom line is that until such a time when we recognize that, yes, if there are no failures, that means you are not trying enough. There will be failures. Why do you spend your time doing more narratives on the failures? How much have we taken hours, one of ours, and had drafted a narrative around them? It's so unfortunate. This field that we operate in is one of the most unfortunate fields. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Take a look all over the world. The richest people, go and look at the list today. Look at the top 10. What kind of business do they do? Technology. But here, the people in tech, some of them are still struggling to even put food on the table. Except those smart ones that I said have aligned with foreigners. The point I'm trying to make is that majority of the work of even these guys that you have said have aligned with foreigners were done by our people, in our land, for our people. now being celebrated as though they belong to others because we chose not to put the appropriate narrative behind it. And until such a time where we have the leadership that understands that the true meaning of wealth is not in cash that you see, it is a capacity to create from nothing, then we still remain a picture of a nation that's going nowhere.
You won't believe it. I know that before the end of the second season of this show, you are going to come back because a lot are going to be skipped for the sake of time. But I am moving into closer to your space now. For a long period between last year and now, the banks in Nigeria have been in the news for very, very wrong reasons. Today, you go to a bank, process a payment, and you go back home and it doesn't work. Tomorrow, one platform will collapse, and then it will take like 1 week to fix it. Customers will be on hold, and even when it is fixed, those so-called bugs will still sustain its stranglehold on the pathways to consummation of transactions.
Correct.
For a long period, and then you are seeing all sorts of chaos. I don't want to mention their names, but you know the banks that were on this table.
Yeah.
And people like you were behind this so-called technology implementation. What was that word again? The back-end implementation, blah, 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 that we're supposed to make transactions faster, safer, more convenient.
Yes.
But which created difficulties for people.
Yes.
Why is that? Why was that?
Now,
And because it's still happening. Why is that happening?
You know, there's a word that Rucha Sukurucha brought into the lexicon.
Iberiberism.
Iberiberism. A lot of organizations practice that word, Iberiberism. And it's not their fault. It is simply because, like I said earlier, people do not understand the real definition of money. They take money at the lowest level, which is cash. But when you have that kind of disappropriate distribution of that cash, and people do not understand what real wealth is, they will run into the kind of problems, and I will explain myself to you. So a lot of times, you see the banks we're talking about have a lot of money in cash. Take a look at their reports. Yes. There's no industry other than oil and gas. Okay, maybe church.
Oil and gas doesn't have that kind of magic. Maybe churches.
Maybe church.
Churches, because once you have their physical structure and then the pastor gets some Twitter inside his mouth, it starts happening.
And the banks are very well protected. I don't know. I mean, I have accounts in other parts of the world. You transfer money. If I transfer $1,000, the other guy receives $1,000. Nobody debits my account for anything. Nobody debits his account for anything. But here, transfer 10,000 naira.
50 naira will go.
They will charge you. So the banks are protected making cheap money that they really don't need to work for. So they have a lot of money. Now, because they have that, they assume that they can hire the best technology guys. All right? And they can afford to pay them because it's a matter of cash.
Yes.
So they bring in these guys, they're smart guys, and then they bring them into the bank. And then because they have these guys, they assume that they themselves have become technology companies, and I laugh at them. Once upon a time, I went to one of those banks, and I was going to say, oh guys, come in, let's work together. See what you can help us, give us something. And the guy I met there, you know what he did? He told me to follow him. And he took me to a mezzanine floor.
To a
mezzanine floor.
Okay.
So we could look downstairs. and I saw a sea of heads of people. He said, that's my technology team. He said, can your software company compete with this? Try to insult me. But I gave him an answer. I said, well, we can't compete with this because only fools compete with those that they should collaborate with.
Wow.
So that's what happens.
You didn't get him thinking?
I hope so. And that's why I said it beriberiism.
Yes.
So a number of them think that because they've hired people, they don't understand that the ingredients to run the technology firm is different. The job that I have is more engaging than the job of the CEO of the bank. But they think that because they can hire the guys there, then they are running the technology. Oh, they are far from it. That's why you have a lot of those problems. Because I have managed a company for more than 31 years, and we've sold products. And those products are running in more than 48 countries of the world today. And our applications remain constant. Do I have the same set of staff that have been with me for 31 years? No, some of them have gone. Some of them are still around. But because I understand the importance of what I do, I know what to do to protect the business.
Yes.
But for them, what's their business? Banking. So when you talk about their risk and everything, they spend a lot of more time looking at all those things. Then they want to run the technology firm. It's a joke. So what then happens is that when 2, 3 of those guys leave, they can no longer support it. Whereas what they should have done in the first instance was to cooperate with companies like mine. The smart ones amongst them that cooperate, that choose to cooperate, and I'm not talking about my own company. How many can I do anyway? And how many do I even want? I say it all the time. We are not looking for every bank. We can't work for every bank.
Yes.
There are some that when they come to us, we just look at them and say, sorry, we can't even deal. We target those that we are after. But I'm saying that had we done the right things, we would have had a much more virtuous technology industry in Nigeria, and the banking and financial industry you're talking about would have been a lot more protected than what you saw. In fact, I think I'll tell you why the central bank had to come up and say any bank that wants to do any upgrade must get regulatory approval. It's not necessary. And they've done what ought to be done. And I hope that lessons have been learned. I hope so. I haven't seen evidence yet that lessons have been learned.
Well, lessons learned, but even for those infractions, delayed frustrations, nobody has been punished.
Nobody will
for
be
those
punished.
things.
Nobody will be punished.
And the worst case scenario is that, the worst is that most of those things they bring in are actually procured from abroad.
You see, so
why are you guys being ignored when you have better things? Even Nigerians don't believe in Nigerian technology. It has to come from outside before it is deemed
good enough.
Good enough. What is the problem?
Again, there are many things. I spoke about the narrative. That's the example some clown took me and said, can my software company compete
with this?
But that's one bit of it. The other bit of it is that, oh, come and show me evidence of your capacity to do something. And again, it's a two-way traffic. On our own side too, sometimes we are a little bit too hasty to say we want to take on the big projects.
Yes.
If you go look at the Bible, before David fought Goliath, secretly, nobody knew. Nobody knew he had fought the bear. Secretly, nobody knew he had fought the lion and defeated them. And therefore, when it was time for Goliath, he could publicly declare that I'm going to take on this because this is my CV.
Yes.
He didn't just suddenly wake up and say, I'm going to fight Goliath. That's one challenge that we need to take a look at from the industry standpoint. However, from the market standpoint, people still have not come to the reality, and sometimes they use their own capability to judge others because they are unable to do certain things. Then they think nobody around here can do. But again, there's another factor that we should talk about. We don't like to talk about it, but it is the truth. And that is the capital C, corruption.
I was going to come to that. Because even in the core marketing communication space, agencies would rather go to South Africa, Kenya to shoot commercials that are coming into Nigeria because of potentials for extra codes. Is the situation the same in the software space?
It is it is worse in the software space. Number one, you buy from abroad, just like you say, you can travel abroad. Secondly, you can
come back with a CD.
And you can collect bribes offshore. So your brother doesn't want you to know that the Mercedes is driving. It's proceeds of bribe. They will come to church and give testimony that the Lord has done it finally. The Lord didn't do anything. You collected bribes.
And then pastor will shout, praise the Lord.
Yes, you collected bribes. But they don't. But if you are the one that gave, you know that the secret is out.
Wow. In the last 9 years, 5 unicorns have come out of this country. 5.
Yes.
What does it say about the sector and these people? What does it even say about Nigerians and creativity?
It validates my maxim that we are black, we are not daft. It validates that Nigerians have, because what you're talking about, everything was done by Nigerians in Nigeria for Nigeria. Only that they came and then some people gave them wings to fly. But then the other question you want to ask yourself is, how relevant are unicorns? How many unicorns do you even want? Is that what you should be pursuing? Are you pursuing valuation or are you pursuing value?
$1 billion valuation is no chicken feed.
Yeah, well, valuation is not bad.
For a startup anyway.
Valuation is not bad anywhere, whether for startup or for establishment. But value is better. And when I talk, because valuation is perception of the market. Many companies are valued at $1 billion that are not going to make profit for, I don't know, for many years. Some of them are even making losses. So the rational investor is hoping. So sometimes, and I'm not necessarily referring to the Nigerian ones, I'm talking globally. So you are virtually buying.
There's a difference between valuation and value.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, it's the truth. So one of the things I say that the real entrepreneurs, there are 2 types of people. There are entrepreneurs that want to create value, and there are entrepreneurs that want to draw value. And one of the very renowned professors in Harvard Business School was my professor of negotiation. He was speaking one day and he was talking to the Harvard MBA graduating class. And then he said, some of you, when you graduate, they were graduating anyway, when you leave this school, some of you are going to continue to pursue creating value. Those I call entrepreneurs. But some of you are going to set up contraptions and set up structures and make other people believe you are doing something so that you can draw more than you have put into the pot. Those I call thieves. There are very many thieves around who create contraptions and defraud people. I'm sure you've seen a lot of Ponzi schemes as well. So I'm saying that for me, my entrepreneur's creed is not pursuit of valuation. Is that as an entrepreneur, I will continue to pursue value, value, and value. In the course of that, if valuation comes favorable, fantastic. But one currency that never fails is value.
It's value.
Yes.
Value is what we're going to talk about again, leveraging still the unicorns I mentioned earlier, because one of the 5 unicorns out of Nigeria is Moneypoint. I will mention their name.
Yeah.
And the only thing they have, which other financial services institutions and platforms don't have, is technology. Daily today, Moneypoint processes a payment of over $12 billion every month. For a company that started somewhere in Alagbado, leveraging only POS, and what is the thing they are doing differently that the regular banks are not doing? Because I don't think anybody expected Moneypoint, PalmPay, and those other people to get to the point where they are.
I think the companies we are talking about are doing very well to start with. And one of the things I say jokingly, my generation of bankers are no longer there. But one of the things I say when I get to meet some of my own generation, and some people call us ancestors, is that perhaps if some of us had remained in banking, what we see as fintech today will probably not have emerged and blossomed the way they have blossomed. And I really congratulate the young people that have become smart fintechs today. And the reason why I said if some of us had remained in banking, perhaps those organizations would not have come up is that what happened is that the banks left the white space for payments to the fintechs. Why? Because like I said, the banks were making cheap money.
Yeah.
Otherwise. And so people were having difficulties doing these things. And these fintechs saw that space and they pursued them vigorously. And that's why the kind of thing you're talking about, Moneypoint, because you're talking about how efficient payments made if you are doing the POS. And they came up with a smart model that allows these things to run through. Ordinarily speaking, had our banks been up to speed, that should have been the job of banking.
Yes.
When I was at the bank many years ago, as CIO, 35 years ago, those were some of the things that I kept talking about. How do we get close to our customers and embed ourselves into their business? And some banks also took cue from us and did some very good work in collaboration with us, embedded themselves into. And I'm happy to say this. Guarantee Trust Bank of your, not the one that you know today.
Yeah, a lot has changed, even with them.
The Guarantee Trust Bank of your worked with my company to provide the first fintech, what you now call fintech, solution to Elf Petroleum. This was way back in 1998. What we did was we did an end-to-end system that allowed Elf Petroleum to make payments to their contractors using Guaranteed Trust Bank's infrastructure and technology, part of which was provided by my company. That's what I mean by, and some of us remained in banking. That white space would not have been left. But once our generation left, and there was a lot of money, you could make money very easily by round tripping funds. And you know what they do? Just simply investing in government securities without any risk. You don't need to take any risk. So those who are doing very well, and then all these fees that you are making from inexistent services that you claim to provide. You are charging me for sending me happy birthday. Did I beg you to send me happy birthday? You are charging me for all those kind of things. So, and nobody's asking.
They will even charge you to remind you that you have not funded your account over a period.
So those are the kind of things that allow the banks to say, hey, why do I need to exercise my brain power when I'm making money? It's called flight to quality.
Wow. Let's look at young Africans and entrepreneurship. Yes, the challenges are many and varied. Can you help situate this? Because I know they are going to watch young African businessmen who are enterprising and aspiring to run their own businesses. These are one of the reasons why we started this, so that from senior people, from eggheads like our guest today, we are all going to learn. Knowledge sharing is core in what we're doing. In terms of starting out, what do you think are the fundamental challenges facing young Africans who want to get into the business on their own?
The biggest challenge I see with entrepreneurs, whether young or old in Africa, is what you have identified: market access. So you see, a lot of people, when they go into entrepreneurship, everybody thinks that the problem is capital. No. And when you talk about capital, it depends on the kind of business you are even doing. Because I will classify capital into three.
Yes.
I call it a triangle of capital. But many people,
Triangle.
It's a triangle. The capital triangle. You have intellectual capital.
Yes, that's one.
You have emotional capital. Then you have financial capital.
Yes.
When you talk about capital, everybody looks more.
Now, which one comes first?
The mix is compulsory. I started my own business with 8,250 naira. That money has not finished till today. I haven't got anybody to give me 1 naira since that day. So what capital are you talking about? We built a multi-million-dollar business today. So where is capital? That's why I say intellectual capital matters. Emotional capital matters. How emotionally invested, how passionate are you about what you are doing? Then people are looking for money, and people want to trade with other people's money to do what? They want to buy Range Rovers and stuff. They are good. Okay, they are very nice. But when you are starting up, you live mean and lean.
Yeah.
So I think that the bigger challenge is market access. Because if you have market access, invariably, you are turning over. It may be strenuous initially. The market is there, you are giving the market what the market wants, you will make money. Part of the money you make will be margins, and part of the margins plows back to capital. At the end of the day, you can grow organically. And when you actually get to a particular point in time, and you realize that the market is really still big, and you have proven track record, then of course you can seek capital and funding externally to pursue value. So that's why I buy a lot of companies, I invest, and I buy companies outright. But one of the things I insist for any entrepreneur that approaches me, I want to see your business plan. But people don't understand that when I read the business plan, I don't give a damn about it. Because I know that what you have written in that business plan is never going to happen in real life. But I want to see how your mind works. That's why I'm looking at your business capital. However, the other thing that is much more important to me than looking at that piece of paper that you call the business plan is how Spartan are you?
How?
Spartan.
Okay.
How much of a fighter are you?
The Spartan spirit, fighting spirit, staying power.
The staying power.
Yes.
That's when I see one like that. And that's why there is a maxim that it's not the size of the dog in the fight that matters, it's the size of the fight in the dog that matters. When I see that, I know that this is the guy to go for. Together we swing. And we don't sink actually, because these are guys that are resilient and they would succeed. And so far, I haven't lost money.
Wow. Because of our conversation, because my research before we gathered here today was that your tools, your software, your what's the more appropriate word to
Applications.
Your applications work in about 37 African countries. Now you mentioned 40.
More than. Yeah, I mean, we have clients not just in Africa anymore. We have clients in Europe. We have clients in the United States.
Yes.
And we are going.
Now, how did you achieve that operating out of Nigeria?
Yeah.
Even with all the challenges, perception issues, how did you do that?
Grace of God. But I'll show you my workings. You see, when the Bible says, show me a man that is diligent
In his
in
ways.
his business, what does the Bible say? It says he will stand before kings and not mean men. That's probably our testimony. It's a game of diligence, a game of doggedness. If you come to you have come to my office several times.
I've been there
so
a number of times. Yeah.
Where's our signboard? We don't even have one.
No.
It's only you see the nameplates on our door.
That's why I lost my way. That's
right.
Yes.
You only see the name at our door. But the best advertisers are customers. When customers give testimonials, then Just one single sentence from an authentic statement from a satisfied customer says more than 1,000 words that you say as a market pitcher. That's really helped us grow. So you see people, they leave one organization and they go somewhere else. So what are these people doing? Then they say they are looking for solutions in Brazil, they are looking for solutions in London, in America. I said, God, this problem, people here that solve. In fact, there is a particular client. They went to South Africa to look for the solution. They told them that the people that solved their own problem are from your country. So that's how we are able to grow, you know. And after a while, when we had, like I said, margins, you don't consume your margin, you don't eat your seed.
Yes.
You invest there, we became a little bit stronger, then we fired ourselves up and begin to go into those markets by ourselves, again working with partners in each of those territories.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
What's next for PFS?
PFS. It is my desire that this company becomes a global player. That's what I pray for, and that's what I hope to see in my lifetime. Today, we are strong here. We are probably getting to regional recognition. We are now foreign in Europe, now in America. But
in Europe and America, you are a foreign software company.
yes, we are foreign software company there. That's right. We have software running in full-fledged banks in the United States. Foreign software. That's good. So, it is my desire that we also can play in the field, the same way Oracle, Microsoft, ESET, and such companies are playing. That's my desire. And every day I pray that this becomes reality. But I'm working very hard together with the rest of my team to achieving that.
Thank you very much. You have a lot of targets. One, to hoist the Nigerian flag in the software space. But there's another big target that you have set for yourself. I also spotted it while researching this session today. You have given yourself the job of igniting a campaign to reset Nigeria.
Yes.
And I toured the internet and I read, I think like 5-6 articles on how to reset Nigeria, written and published by you.
Yes.
How do you want to reset this country? It's something that I'm sure is passionate to you. Otherwise, it won't be all over the internet already.
I'm very passionate about it. And I continue to advocate that we will achieve it. However, I still believe in the philosophy, the maxim that I've used to grow my business from 8,250 naira to wherever we are today.
You don't want to share with us where you are today?
I don't know. So the other time, the managing director of my wealth managers came to see me from wherever they came. And they said, oh, we want to do valuation. And what for? So you come and tell me I'm now what? I don't know. So what do I do with that? So that I feel like a big man? No. I want to remain simply Yele, the gentleman that God called to do a particular assignment, and I intend to pursue that assignment until death. So all these things you're talking about, they don't mean anything to me. I just want to wear a decent shirt every day, be able to eat a decent meal. But much more importantly, I want to drive a generation of young Africans who can show that indeed we are black, we are not daft. I intend to continue to do that step by step, one block upon the next, one piece upon the next, and then hopefully it will become something of a movement. If it does, I'm glad. If it doesn't, I'll be satisfied that I have served my own generation as God wanted me to serve the generation.
So what are the pegs and plugs in that space that you think
A lot.
you need?
Oh, what I need? No, it's simply for these. One tell one. But not just tell. You have it, you believe it, and you act it. You see, sometimes it's very hard. Some people, when they speak to me, and I tell them things, they will go back and say, doctor can say that. The man has money. That's why he's saying that. I laugh. Let me tell you, there was a day in this same company that we are talking about, when we were closing our doors, we did not know the next time we would open the doors. Why? Because we were completely out of cash. Yes. And I was the only one at that time in the company. No, two of us, we were 3 employees. 2 of us had cars, 1 did not have. So we left the office, our tanks were empty. The other guy went in the car of the other guy. We dropped him at home. So we said, well, we will see again when next. Then, as God will have it, my wife came back home and gave me 150 naira. So with 150 naira, I bought petrol in my car for, was it 70 naira or so? I bought petrol. Then I went and I gave the guy in Mushi the money for him to come to work by public transport.
Yes.
Then I went to meet the other guy, and I think I gave him maybe 50 naira or so to buy petrol. And then we met again in the office the following day. But the question is, perhaps if we didn't open our doors that following day, perhaps this vision that we call PFS will no longer be alive. So you see serendipity. But again, like I keep saying, it's about resilience. That's what I talk about, emotional capital.
Yes.
So when I collected the 150, no, sorry, it was 250 naira. Now I remember, not 150. It was 250 naira. I bought 100 naira petrol in my car, gave 80 naira to the guy from Isolo, and 70 naira for the guy from Mushi. That money is still what we are spending today. So you see, I say that it's about it's not just about hearing the word, it's about internalizing it and doing it. And not only doing it in the face of challenges. Hey, today, so I go places and people celebrate. Oh, Dr. Okeremi, this, that, and that. I'm happy and I'm grateful to God. I thank God. Yeah. But you know what? Is there any derogatory name I haven't been called before? There's none. There's none. They've called me fly-by-night operator. They've called me one-man shop. Just name it. Charlatan. But here we are today. And those that said those words, they also know where they are. And that's what I want every African to understand. You can achieve it. Even when people don't think you can. Believe it and do it.
Here we are today. And here we are speaking with Yele Okeremi, Managing Director and Chief Executive of Precise Financial Systems, PFS. We have been inspired by his story. From 8,000 naira capital, he is still drawing from that account 31 years after. From 250 naira borrowed from his wife that he shared with his co-founders of the company, he is still there. This time are still drawing from that today. Talk about being an inspiration. Talk about being an energetic fighter. Talk about resilience. Talk about perseverance. Talk about intelligence mixed with a passion for one's country. That's what we have rolled into the creative genius that we have in the Café today. Thank you very much for joining us here. And I don't know where else we could have gotten the bulk of the knowledge that you have given us today. I keep telling my friends that what we want to create out of this is an MBA. that will inspire other people to learn. If Yele did it through this way, if Yele believed in organic growth this way, why not you, the young person? The qualities you have shown, the dexterity you have displayed right from the day you started, that's what we want to sell to Nigerians, whether you're at home or in the diaspora.
Correct.
And we are glad once again for you to make out time. I know how busy you are, but I sincerely appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your willingness and readiness to share all the time. Thank you. And like I said when we were talking, we are going to invite you after the first season because we didn't exhaust this conversation. There's a lot for us to talk about. But meanwhile, thank you very much. This is what we stand for.
This is really good stuff.
And
Great stuff. Thank you.
we want to see whether we can match the quality you represent in terms of some of this.
This is
They
really
are
good.
symbolic, but then
It's world class.
it makes us fulfilled and happy
Thank you so
that
much.
you came here, and
Thank you so much.
thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Yele Okeremi, the CEO of Precise Financial Systems. That's one of the leading software houses in Africa. And I've had a very great time. C-Suite Café was quite engaging. I had a very great time with Ike, and I encourage everybody, please keep watching C-Suite Café. There's a whole lot to gain from it.